You're watching Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Smitty made an adamant point that he wanted me to say to the 12s today that it is time for all of you to touch our bags and drop our sack on this edition of Seahawks Today as we answer your questions. And I'll tell you this, we got an interesting one ahead, folks. I've already taken a little sneak peek at the mailbag, and people are talking about a potential decision to be made between Geno and DK. Stay tuned. Before we do, folks, the race to the playoffs is on here on Seahawks Today, and we are covering it like no one else is, with daily news and rumors, live shows every Wednesday, watch parties every game day, your one-stop shop for all things Seahawks. If you would like to be a part of our next mailbag segment, you can do so by subscribing and turning on notifications. Stay up to date. You'll know when we have new content here on the channel. If you're part of that Nota Gang, spam Nota Gang in the comments section. Never miss a moment. Subscribe now to Seahawks Today. You'll be glad you did. Let's start with Ian. He writes, Tyler, did you ever run that 5K that you owed us? Not yet. It was pretty hot there for a while. I didn't want to pass out. Now the weather's good. I will take care of that 5K. I promise. I'm a man of my word. Second part of the question. How did it go at right guard last week? So Lumea got the starts, and his PFF grades were not great. But the eye test, there's two different things, right? You look at the actual data and then the eye test itself. And the eye test said that with Lumea, he did a decent job in pass pro. And he wasn't great when it came to run blocking, but pass pro specifically, he held his own, and Geno wasn't under a whole lot of pressure in pass pro caused by Lumea. So that's a positive. That's a building block, but it's still an ongoing issue as long as this season has gone on. Anthony Bradford hasn't looked good. Christian Haynes hasn't impressed the coaching staff. Maybe it's time to call up Phil Haynes, potentially speaking. We'll see. Big Bob Johnson writes in, can the Seahawks afford to keep Geno and DK? Big Bob, great question. And I was listening to Dan Graziano this week of ESPN, the so-called worldwide leader. And Graziano brought up an interesting point. He said that he does not think that the Seahawks will be able to afford to keep both Geno Smith and DK Metcalf in the future. Both of those guys, their contracts are coming up sooner than later, and he thinks that there's a decision that could potentially have to be made between these two of which one to keep. And I'll tell you what, if that's the case, to me, this is an easy decision to make. I'm taking DK every time over Geno. You kidding me? And just think about this, all right? So Geno is thought to be at best, at the very best, a top 15 quarterback. DK is thought to be about a top 10 receiver. And then you think about the money-wise, DK is not going to cost as much as Geno would. So I get a better player at his position, and it's going to cost me less money. And one more point, I think personally it is easier to replace Geno than it is to replace DK Metcalf. Because you look at the season Geno's had this year, it's been okay. It hasn't been bad, but it hasn't been great either. If I bring in a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract, if I find my guy, I have every reason to think that they should be able to put up numbers similar to Geno if I have the right guy. That's a big if. With DK, I know that wide receivers seem like they're growing on trees these days, but, I mean, DK, they're not built like him. There's not too many guys that look like DK Metcalf. So I think based on all those reasons laid out, if it's a choice, it's an easy call for me. I'm keeping DK and I'm moving on from Geno. If you had to pick one to keep, you going with Geno or are you going with DK Metcalf? Type Geno for Geno Smith. Type DK for DK Metcalf. Weigh in the comment section and let us know what you think. All right, let's tell you about today's sponsor, and that is Public Rec. And I got to tell you, I'm such a big fan of Public Rec and what they've been doing with their fantastic shirts that they've been putting together for the folks out there, folks. I mean, it's been awesome. I've loved my shirt. You saw me wear it just a moment ago, and it's extremely comfortable. It fits well. I mean, if you're not getting these shirts, then you're missing out on what Public Rec has to offer. Let's be real, guys. Wearing nice pants sucks. Who decided that stiff, uncomfortable fabric squeezing your family jewels was the key to looking sharp? Well, here's an early holiday gift from me to you. Those days are finally over. Public Rec's Daymaker pants are here to make sure you stay comfy and classy this season. They feel like your favorite sweats, but look like tailored pants. Yup, super stretchy with an elastic waistband so you can rock them anywhere. Whether you're kicking back with holiday movies, making your way through leftovers, or watching bowl games with the boys, these pants have you covered. Heck, they'll even keep you looking sharp for that awkward holiday party with your in-laws. Give the gift of comfort to yourself or someone you love this holiday season with Public Rec's Daymaker pants. And for a limited time, you can get 20% off your entire order with code CHATS20 at publicrec.com. That's 20% off when you use promo code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. And I got to tell you, with the holidays around the corner, I'm taking care of my family with some Public Rec. I love it. They're going to love it too. And if you're looking for a great holiday gift, your loved ones are going to enjoy it as well. Public Rec not only has the most comfortable pants ever made, but they have a huge selection of high-quality everyday basics. You can revamp your entire wardrobe with their perfect-fitting polos, shorts, and hoodies. Stop suffering in regular pants and give the gift of comfort this holiday season. For a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off when you use code CHAT20 at checkout. That's 20% off with the code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Say goodbye to pants that put up a fight, because when comfort meets style, you found Public Rec. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. All right, the Kingdom writes in, how good are the Seahawks' playoff chances right now? So I look at it twofold in this situation for Seattle here. I'm not worrying about the wild card. I know that they can technically get the wild card. The Commanders have that last spot right now at 8-5. The wild card should be viewed as your backup option, but it's not so cut and dry that you can obviously fall back on it, because the Commanders have been a very good football team this year. So with that said, I'm ignoring the wild card for now. Let's focus in on the division here. We went over the projected numbers from The Athletic earlier this week. And although the Seahawks' chances right now to win the division are at 38%, that's still better than Arizona. That's better than Los Angeles, and it's a hell of a lot better than San Francisco's position to make the postseason at this point in time. So while the Seahawks have work to do, they have momentum, they're still in a good spot. What concerns me, the Kingdom, is that schedule. Of the three realistic teams that can win the division between Seattle, Arizona, and Los Angeles, Seattle by far has the toughest schedule remaining. There's not one game you say here that without a shadow of a doubt, Seattle's going to win. I think they can go 3-2 in that stretch, and I can live with that. 4-1 would be phenomenal. If you go 3-2, I think you win the division, you're taking care of business. But it's not easy, and we'll see how things go from here. But it's going to be interesting. I can guarantee you that much. Will the Seahawks make the playoffs? Step Y for yes, in for no. Get your predictions in. I think they do, but it's going to be close. What do you guys think? Weigh in. Lon writes in, could Tyler Lockett take a pay cut to stay with the team? So that's a question for Tyler Lockett. Does he want to take a pay cut? Is the first step. Because let's be real with y'all. Next year, his cap hit is around, $32 million. You're not keeping Tyler Lockett on a $32 million cap hit. Absolutely not. If Tyler Lockett is going to come back, then you're going to have to move some money around, and whether it be a pay cut or, find ways to get flexible here. But with that said, as much as I love TL, and he's been awesome, it's been a fantastic career for him. He has faded so much in this offense, I don't think you have to have Tyler Lockett back. Based on the way JSN has stepped up and the way DK's looked, I would tell you this. If you're debating the next few weeks about going to a Seahawks game or not, I would try to get to a game because you might not get to see Tyler Lockett play for the Seahawks ever again. I think that there's a decent chance he retires or maybe goes back home to where his father played with the Kansas City Chiefs next year. I think that's certainly possible. Justin writes in, with Chenault getting the boot, do you see guys like Kenny McIntosh taking reps in special teams? Yes, Kenny McIntosh should be the one to step in and fill Chenault's role. And, McIntosh has had a couple kick returns this year. I think he's the odds-on favorite to be that guy. And, for Kenny McIntosh, I'm not asking for a lot. Just don't fumble the football. It's okay to take a touchback. It's fine. Just don't do what Chenault and Williams have been doing. Williams, he's on thin ice right now, too. Just don't cause him mistakes. I just don't need you to get in the way. That's all I need. Touchdowns are nice, don't get me wrong, but just don't get in the way, please. That's all I ask. The Boskin writes in, when are they going to cut D. Williams? He sucks as a returner. Boskin, I hear you, but he plays corner as well, and that's what's kind of keeping him around is those corner abilities, and the Seahawks don't have a ton of depth at the corner position compared to what Chenault was at the wide receiver spot. They have a little more depth there. So I understand the frustration, but I don't think D. Williams is going anywhere yet. But if he continues to make mistakes, then they might make a change. Jefferson writes in, last question. Is there a solid nose tackle that John Schneider can sign this offseason so Byron Murphy and Williams can get some serious production going with Reed rotating them? I'll be honest, I haven't taken much of a look at free agents for 2025 at this point. But I would expect that the Seahawks are going to be drafting those spots, trying to go young at those positions. I think that would be the most likely situation. But as I pull this up in real time, you look at free agents, defensive tackles next year, B.J. Hill, D.J. Jones, Sebastian Joseph, Javon Kinlaw, Linval Joseph, Jerry Tillery. Those are just some names out there. So I think that's a position they prioritize in the draft rather than free agency, but we'll see. Jefferson, thanks for that question, and thank you all for being here with us on Seahawks today. All right, we're going to throw in one more. Why not? Justin says, how do you see Seattle's D handling Trey McBride this week? I think they'll handle him just fine. I know they're not sponsoring this video, but in my prize picks this week, I took the less on Trey McBride receiving yards. I think they'll be fine. I'm not expecting much. I think that the Seahawks will contain Trey McBride, and they'll be okay there. We'll see how it all plays out. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seahawks Today. We will see you on Sunday for Seahawks and Cardinals. Appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next time.